Today, let's talk about adding images in a Word document. First, click on Insert, then click on Pictures, and choose where you have the image saved. In this case, I'm going to my desktop and choosing Sunset Horse. You can see that the image pops up at our uppermost and leftmost margin. One thing that I often see students do, probably my most common error, is that they will distort an image in order to make it fit in a space they want it to fit in. There are several things you can do to combat this. Instead of dragging from a side or pushing in from a side when you're trying to make an image fit, let me undo that. Drag from a corner. This makes the image stay in proportion along the edges, on the sides, and the top and bottom, rather than distorting what's inside. Please know that in some programs, in order to make the image stay in proportion, you must hold the Shift key while you drag from a corner. But in Word, if you're dragging from a corner, your image will stay in proportion. If you just need it to be slightly smaller, you also have the option to crop the image. Again, if you're in the document and you click on the image to select it, you get a picture format menu. That's not always there. It's only when you have a picture selected. When you click on that, one of the options is to crop the image. This gives you these little drag handles. If you bring one in from the side, again, it keeps the proportions, but it cuts off those parts. If you pull it in from the top a bit, it keeps all the proportions the same, but it just cuts off a bit at the top or cuts off a bit at the bottom. Once you have it where you want it, hit the crop button again, and now you can see that we've gotten rid of part of what was already there. We still haven't changed the proportions of our horse. He still looks right, but we have less image, so it fits better in the space we're trying to use. Another thing you'll note is that I'm not really able to move the image around on the page. The way to combat that is to click this little button that comes up, the layout options, and it's set to be in line with text. This means that if I began typing, the words would come up here and then they would continue to flow under the image. If I wanted to move it, I could choose any of these bottom options. I can choose square, tight, through, top and bottom, behind, or in front of text. And once I choose one of those, it frees up the ability to move the image anywhere on the page, and then your words will move around it. If I was filled with text here, the text would be moving around the image until I could get it to where I wanted it to be. Another neat trick that you can do is if you have an image like this that you prefer and you want to use it in the background on your page, let's say that we're doing an ad, you can set the image up and simply drag the corner to make it the size of the whole page. It may go off the back a little bit. And you can put that in the background of your page. Let's see. The wrapping for this, though, needs to say behind, and then you can make it take up the entire page if you so choose. You may have to drag it over to the side to get it repositioned to where you want it to be. And that's just a few quick tips on how to work with images when you are in Microsoft Word.